Hey guys, Aris, Hardware Busters. So, thanks to Seasonic, they helped me buy a Palit 4090. This is although it's the most affordable RTX 4090, still it is very, very expensive.
Name a price.
1500 without VAT euros. So the problem here is that this Palit comes with a 3-to-1 16-pin connector instead of a 4-to-1 because it is limited to 450 watt, while many of the other RTX 4090s are up to 600 watt. For example, the Founders Edition, the NVIDIA, Asus ROG Strix, up to 600 watt. Some of them though are up to 500 watt, which is enough. Although this is restricted up to 450 watt, still its performance, it's outstanding. And on top of that, you don't need a very strong PSU. An 850 watt PSU will do just fine for this card. Although I would recommend 1000 watt PSU. Anyway, the thing is that I want to take some measurements with Powenetics and push a lot the 16 PCI Express connector. The only way to do that is to flash another BIOS to the card. I will try the overclock edition BIOS because this card has weak VRMs. It doesn't have the best VRMs, that's for sure, and this is why it costs about 500 euros less than the Asus ROG Strix or the other good 4090. Anyway, let's go over here. So, άμα θες δείξεις την οθόνη, as you can see from Tech Power Up, power limit default 450 and maximum again 450. I want to change that to move it to at least 500 watt. So I'm gonna flash the card using a special NV flash. Let's see. Update. We're flashing now about a 2000 euro card, including VAT. Yep. Reboot is required for the update to take effect. Guys, you better not mess with your BIOS unless you are super sure that you know what you are doing. We have to do a reboot now to check if the BIOS, the power limit has changed. Okay. You have of course to find a BIOS that is compatible with your card. You don't just take a BIOS with a similar model number and you flash it, because you can have different HDMI ports, you can have different fans. So my best bet right now was to use the overclock models, because there's a Gamerock plain and Gamerock overclock. So I used the overclock model, which goes up to 500 watt. Thankfully it started. And let's see now what we did here. Yeah, the clocks are increased. The boost clock has been increased to 2610 megahertz. Let's take a look now at the BIOS. 500 watt. Yeah, here we are. 500 watt. It was so simple, right? No, it is not so simple to do it. Lots of money if something goes wrong. So now from Thundermaster, Palit's application, I can go the slider up to 111% and go to 500 watt. And let's see now the power consumption. I also have a Vertex power supply with the native 16 pin connector with both Sense 0 and Sense 1 grounded. So this cable is rated, can actually deliver 600 watt. It tells the card, the Sense pins, that you can have up to 600 watt if you want. I have the card rated now for 500 watt, and let's fire up Powenetics and see what is going on here. Powenetics, Fairmark, 500 watt. Oh no, overclock. BIOS. Come on. Okay. Powenetics here. Full speed. Fairmark. Let's start the charts to see what is going on. Let's take a look at the charts.
What are we looking at?
660 watt maximum power spike.
Just for the GPU?
Wow, yeah. That is nice. Previously, with the default BIOS, I had 547 maximum power spike. More than 100 watt more. And this is expected because this card does not have very strong VRMs. So the more you push them, the higher the power spikes will be. Yeah, as you can see, it goes well over 500 watt here. And let's take a look in here. Yeah, that's insane.
Those are the spikes, the ones
Yeah,
that
they,
go up and down?
you will see the spikes now.
There are too many, aren't they?
Yeah. Here is the main spike, here.
That's when you started it?
When you start, yeah. The highest spike, you can see it's clearly above 600 watt. The highest spike is usually when from idle you go to full load suddenly, because you force the card's VRMs to suddenly push to full power delivery, and this is the worst case scenario. And this is what the new Powenetics can do. This is the CPU's power consumption.
So, if we're checking about Powenetics, can you explain to us what you did and what you changed to the new Powenetics system? What is supposed to...
The old Powenetics system used to be modular, so you could get whatever amount of sensors you wanted to use, and it was not easy to set it up. You had to do lots of soldering on your own, you had to cut the PSU's cables, stuff that people were not familiar, most likely, to do it. It's not an easy task to tell someone, hey, cut your PSU's cables to install the sensors. The new Powenetics does not require any of that. You can use it without cutting any PSU's cables. You just connect your PSU's cable here on this side, and we will provide cables with Powenetics which go to the system.
So it's more mainstream?
It's easier, much easier to set up. It's not mainstream because it's way more advanced, and it has all sensors on the board. It is not modular anymore like it was the previous model. You have all sensors, and this made programming it much more easier.
So what's the differences with NVIDIA's package?
Δεν είναι το αυτό για το τέτοιο.
Καλά, okay.
Well guys, things went well. Power consumption went through the roof. And I will run more tests now to see the differences between having 3 cables, an adapter using 3 PCI Express connectors, and a native cable able to deliver up to 600 watt. Now I can do my magic. Thanks again to Seasonic for helping me acquiring this card. Unfortunately, I'm not in Nvidia's list for getting samples or any other board partners because
We don't know.
no, because we are not so deeply into GPUs. Actually, we were.
Well, come on, you made the Powenetics systems. You're not deep.
Anyway, things will change from now on, and hopefully we will get more GPU samples and we will present you way more. This is just a simple stuff, and wait for the next video. That's all. Bye bye.